Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Somebody asked a question on my comment section that I thought was great and needed to be answered. So we're going to get into it, but it has specifically to do with this moment in Splinterlands and how I see this economy growing, this game growing, this ecosystem of Splinterlands growing in the next 5 years. I'll read the question now, but before we do, guys, stick around, stay tuned, like and subscribe. So Trey Trillionaire dropped a comment and he goes, where do you see Splinterlands and its ecosystem in 5 years? Do you see more games coming to the platform in partnership similar to the new tower defense game that is set to come out sometime in the near future? Is now still a good time to invest in the platform, or has the ship already sailed? So, I mean, has the ship already sailed? I feel very strongly that's a quick no. We haven't really even left the station. So, you know, I think the train is has yet to depart. And so, you know, but having said that, I want to unpack that first, and I'm going to come back to like how will it grow and what partnerships would I imagine and what will that mean, all that stuff. But first, just this broad question of like, is now a good time to invest? I strongly believe that this game is fun and has a future, and those are key talking points that you need to think through to answer this question for yourself. I believe those things, that it's fun and it has a future. And so I'm willing to hold assets within this game, a lot of them within this game, that could potentially multiply and magnify my financial gains over the next 5 years. I believe this game will be here in 5 years. I believe it will continue to iterate and evolve over the next 5 years. I think there will be growth in player base. I think there will be reduction in supply over many of these card assets, which is almost necessarily going to drive their price into higher levels. I think rental revenues will continue to be profitable, meaning that there's several ways I can gain from being involved in this game over the next 5 years: playing, renting, owning, and waiting for appreciation. That's 3 different ways. And there's actually tournaments is another way. Land and how we farm that will be another way. Guild brawls and SPS earnings from that way. Staking the SPS is another way. Liquidity pools is another way to be tangentially connected to this space in this economy and still earn. So that's 6 or 7 different ways that this game is going to reward players in the short term and across 5 years. And I think over the short term, it's going to feel trivial. Every time you receive a payment, whether it's for a rental on one of your cards, whether it's from a loot chest that you receive, for the most part, these feel trivial. Every now and then you get this massive loot chest that's worth a ton of money, but that's the exception, not the rule. And so most days and most moments across the next 5 years, your rewards are going to feel very trivial. But the thing to always remember with NFTs and cryptocurrency payouts from a game like this is that 1, they're yours forever. 2, they're limited. The NFTs in particular are limited in number. So they are, and they are deflationary in nature. So the number of cards issued is always reducing because they're being consolidated and many copies burnt for the purpose of making one card a higher level of itself. That's deeply important because it translates to price appreciation. It implies rental opportunity, and it speaks to kind of the game within the game that makes, which is the economy, that makes this game deeply thoughtful and strategic and far more complex than one might assume just looking at the surface of the kind of auto battler that is Splinterlands. So all that to say, I think it's a good time to invest in the game and the platform because, and I don't think the significant appreciation is done. I really firmly believe people getting started today are going to see significant gains as long as they're investing time and attention over the next 4 or 5 years, enjoying the game. First, you need to like it though, because you need to play it regularly. So if you don't think the game's fun, then you're not going to be able to commit to it regularly. That time and attention is not going to be spent in here. You're not going to earn the assets and you're not going to see the appreciation. But if you enjoy the game, and if like me, you trust the development from the developers, you like the transparency that they're offering, you follow the town halls and you see where they're aiming and you think that's wise and theoretically profitable for them because that's good for us, then that means you start to believe in the future of the game. think through also the fact we've been through a bear market with this game. We used to have 1 or 2 or 3,000 players. Now we have 150,000 daily players. Yes, many of them are probably, maybe most of them are bots, but we are still way more real players than we ever were. And the game has grown in reach and recognizability in a massive way. That I expect will continue to grow as this space and as NFTs receive the kind of respect that they deserve. Many NFTs give us a black eye. This is a utility-based NFT that is limited in number, and that scarcity is important. And so this game is different. And so I think there's an amazing opportunity now to invest, or forget about invest, to just play and earn. So has the ship sailed? No. But we need to circle back, because part of the idea around future, one, fun, is the game fun? And 2, does it have a future? Part of that idea actually is built into this prior question, which is, where do you see Splinterlands and its ecosystem in 5 years? Do you see more games coming to Splinterlands to the platform, similar to the new tower defense game we've heard about? First of all, yes, I do. The developers have been really crystal clear that this is open source stuff. They're happy to have people put their own time and effort into creating something that almost partners with or piggybacks on this ecosystem and this community and these assets. And so the assets then get this like increased and exciting new utility that we can't even imagine yet, but it gets brought into the tower defense game we've heard about from the last town hall. If you guys don't know, there's a new tower defense game that some other third party is developing. It has nothing to do with Splinterlands being development team, and so it's not taking away any sort of time or effort or resources from our game. It's literally a third party who hopes that they can create a cool quality product that we're gonna like, that would offer some new utility to your assets from Splinterlands, which is really exciting, because 1, they're drawing on our community. 2, they're potentially creating new value for our economy, for our cards, for our cryptocurrency, our SPS or DEC, whatever else. And tower defense games are fun, and usually they're mobile friendly, and then that might appeal to a certain audience, like globally, and so it's exciting, although we know very little about it. It's exciting in part because it's being executed by a third party, meaning it doesn't have to distract our team from our Splinterlands updates. That's huge. It's exciting because it's this moment where perhaps an entirely new community could begin forming around this new thing, this tower defense game, or whatever the next thing is, and then they just kind of partner with us. And this has happened with other blockchains, like EOS has done this well, where if you had EOS tokens, you would get airdropped coins for Everapedia or whatever other apps that dApps have been running on that thing. And so it's this interesting moment of like involving. XRP has done this with Flare and so on. And there's lots of examples where even something like Bitcoin Cash, it comes out of it is born out of the audience, a partial audience of the Bitcoin world. And so this is very blockchain that they are going to allow this to happen. And I think it bodes well for the growth of our community and therefore the economy. So the tower defense game is exciting, and it's low risk for us. It's no skin off our backs if it doesn't fail. And I think there will be more, because they've been quite clear that they're totally open to that. And then even as we move into the SPS validator nodes operating and that becoming like a decentralized governance system, I think you're going to start to see more of this potentially maybe even being funded by like almost like the war chest that is the DAO, because there's millions and millions of dollars in that DAO that we will have access to. Maybe we will as a community identify certain businesses that are going to create a new game around our game, and we'll fund those with that DAO money, maybe. And additionally, there's already other things we know about that are coming that are almost a new game in and of themselves. One, that their land is coming in the near future. I think it might be maybe a year out. Sounds like by the end of the year, they hope that you can get your tokens, but maybe within a year, we'll actually have land. That's going to be a mini game within the game. We know that brawls are going to unlock SPS rewards soon. That's going to make brawls more of a mini game within the game. It's already a mini game within this game, because the guild atmosphere is its own thing, its own battle, and now it's going to have its own rewards. So that is yet another example of how this game is diversifying through kind of creating new niches. You've heard about boss battles coming to Splinterlands. In the last town hall, Aggie talked about how this is maybe the next thing to start thinking about after we get through Rift Watchers. He wasn't certain, he didn't promise that, but he put it out there as a smaller project. So there's tons of new things coming, and those are the ones we know about. There's other partnerships that are almost certainly going to come because this space is meaningful, and because blockchain is a revolution to the idea of video games, because this own your own assets is deeply important. The fact that you play a game for 1,000 hours, think WoW, Diablo, StarCraft, Call of Duty, you play these games for hundreds or thousands of hours and you get nothing that is literally yours to hold. And if you ever delete that save file, or if the server deletes your save file, that time is gone. With blockchain, that's not the story. That's not the reality. And these are yours, and you can hold them for appreciation over the long term. You can rent them out for kind of a passive income, and 3, you can play with them to earn. And so this is really, really interesting. And so has the time for investment, passed with this game? Has the opportunity, come and gone? No way. If it had, if I felt it had, I would have sold all my assets. But I feel strongly, for many reasons, but they all really boil down to two reasons. 1, it is fun. 2, it does have a future. That's my confidence, and therefore I am pushed my chips all in on it, and I'm going to be here in 4 or 5 years, and we're going to be riding this train, or this ship, whatever analogy you want to use, on to bigger and better things. That's my firm opinion. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. Guys, have an amazing day. Oh, and I'll send Trey a little something. Appreciate you, my dude. Make sure you guys drop your comments in any sort of video. Just say drop a good one. Leave that IGN, and I will do my best to say a little thank you afterwards. Appreciate you guys. Have an amazing day. God bless.